Here I've opened up the main view model tests file, and I've already added a new test method that is called should add friend edit view models only once. As you can see, I publish the open friend edit view event for different friend IDs. Notice that I call it twice with the friend ID 5 and also twice with the friend ID 7. At the end, I assert that the friend edit view models property of our main view model contains only 3 friend edit view models. Those friend edit view models for the friends with the IDs 5, 6, and 7. Now, to be able to find out if we have already loaded a specific friend edit view model, we need to adjust our friend edit view model interface. Beside the load method, let's just add a friend property here, which is of type friend. Okay, this allows us to check the ID of that friend. Let's also add that friend property to the friend edit view model. Okay, now let's go back to our tests. When this event is published, the main view model creates a new friend edit view model. In our test, this happens by that create friend edit view model method, which we pass in to the main view models constructor as a creation method. Now here where we create that friend edit view model mock, we want to set up the load method on that mock. So let's do this. On our view model, let's grab the load method. And as you see, we need to specify a friend ID. But we don't want to specify a specific friend ID. Instead, we want to set up the load method for any friend ID. And for that case, the mock library has the it class. This class has static methods like, for example, the generic isAny method. So I use it with an integer. This means now use that setup whenever the load method is called with any integer. And now we don't want to return just something. Instead, I want to set up a callback. The callback method is also generic, and I say I have that integer parameter. Now in this callback, I just grab that friend ID that is passed to the load method. And now I say, on my friend edit view model mock, I want to do another setup. I want to set up the friend property, and this property should return a new friend with the ID that has just been passed to the load method of the friend edit view model. Okay. Let's add a line break here. And let's add a using directive for friend storage model. Alright, now let's review that code. We create the friend edit view model mock and we set up the load method for any integer. So when the load method of our friend edit view model is called with an integer, we have a callback and we set up the friend property of our friend edit view model to return a new friend that has exactly that ID that has been passed to the load method. Okay, so now let's run this test. As you can see, the test fails and you see expected 3 items, but actually we have 5 items in the friend edit view models property. Now let's go to the main view model and let's implement the logic. Here in the main view model, we have the handler for the open friend edit view event. Before we create a new friend edit view model, we should find out if we have already one for that incoming friend ID. So let's move that code a bit down here, and let's say here on the friend edit view models property, I call single or default. I need a using directive for system link. And I want to grab that view model where the ID of the friend is equal to the incoming friend ID of the event. Only if that view model is not found, so let's check if that friend edit view model is null. In that case, we want to create it. Okay, and we want to add it and we want to call the load method. And then finally, we just select our friend edit view model. Okay, so quite cool. Our implementation looks good. Let's see if our tests are green. Alright, so now we are sure that a friend does not appear in multiple tabs. Now let's continue with the next test. The selected friend edit view model property of the main view model should raise a property changed event. To ensure this, I have adjusted the main view model tests class. I have already added this test method that is called should-raise-property-changed-event for selected friend edit view model. The first thing I do here, I set the fired variable to false. Then I subscribe to the property changed event. If this event is fired for the property name selected friend edit view model, I set my fired variable to true. Then I create a friend edit view model mock object and I assign the iFriend edit view model instance to the selected friend edit view model property of the main view model. With this assignment, the property changed event should be fired for this property. So I assert that my fired flag is true. Before we run this test, I want to refactor it a bit, because we have to test more property changed events in this course. So let's open up the test project and let's add a new folder that we call extensions. Let's add a class to this folder that we call notify property changed extensions. And we make the class public static. In this class I want to define a public static method that returns a bool and that is called isPropertyChangedFired. Okay. This method should be an extension method for the iNotifyPropertyChanged interface. Okay. And now what we need to take as a parameter, we need to take the action and we need to take the property name. Okay. Now let's go back to our test. Let's just copy what we have done here. And I go to my extension method. The fired flag is still good. Then instead of the view model, I just use that notify property changed object. And I subscribe to that event. Here I assert that the property name is this incoming property name. After I have subscribed to the event, I just execute the action and I return the value of my fired variable. Okay, now I can go back to my test method and I can use my extension method. So instead of adding an event handler here, I just call on my view model the new extension method isPropertyChangedFired. And to use that extension method, I need a using directive for friend storage UI tests extensions. So let's scroll up and let's add that using directive. Alright. Now as an action, I just pass in here a lambda expression and I say this here is the action. I create my mock already up front. Okay. And the property name I want to check for is name of view model selected friend edit view model. Alright. Now we just say we store the result in this fired variable and we assert that it is true. Cool! So we have extracted a bit to that isPropertyChanged fired extension method. Now let's run the test. As you can see, the test method is red because we haven't fired this event. So let's go now to the main view model and let's fire the property changed event. Okay, I scroll down to the selected FriendEditViewModel property, and in the setter we call the onPropertyChanged method from the base class. And this method will fire the property changed event. Okay, let's run the tests again. And all the tests are green. Okay, cool. So now we are done with the main view model. Let's continue now to load the friend in the FriendEditViewModel.